Hey, this is a Chaos Fireball Mana Stacker build that I've been doing. This video actually posted um, with a different intro, but since then I noticed that it had some audio problems in the intro, and so I figured I'd re-record it and just go over the changes. All I've done is add in shock, so it clears quite a bit better since everything shocks, as well as remove Solar Orb, because Solar Orb is really nice, but adding in shock just kind of makes it so you don't really need it like that. Like, if I have problems, I can just like throw out a Chaos Bolt for some Wither or throw a Curse down, so it's not that big of a deal. Those are the only real changes that I made. The maxroll and PoE 2 Ninja are always up to date. I'm always editing them, so look there for updates and enjoy the video. This is just a random tier 15 6 mod that I vowed. I don't even think I hit anything. I'm pretty sure I did nothing, but it's the map. Something to note is that modifiers that really hurt this build are stun and ailment, application on monsters, because since we don't have health or energy shield, it's hard to scale our like stun threshold and stuff. The other thing is our elemental threshold. If our ignite chance is lower, it makes it a lot slower. So those are kind of the mods you have to look out for. There's really nothing else. The curse ones kind of suck, but you can deal with it. All the things that make you do like have less energy shield and shit like that, you don't care about. You don't care about monsters having evasion or armor. So it's really just those three. It's just elemental application, both ways, monsters to you and you to monsters, and then monsters stunning you. It's like the only things you really care about. That's the gameplay. It's pretty much a simple rotation. You just kind of run around and throw fireballs out. If you get scared, just slam a solar orb down. You can throw it on top of you or on top of where they're spawning. In like claustrophobic spaces, this can be really nice because your fireballs, all the explosions count when it's infused. But if you can't get your infusions online, then solar orb's a really nice resource to make sure you start setting people on fire. And then your fireball will just burn through everybody. For bossing, it's pretty simple. You just throw the solar orb down, curse, chaos bolt, get the wither, and then just incinerate. And they should just fall right over. You should have noticed in the gameplay, but with incinerate, it actually procs cast an elemental ailment on every incinerate, like ignite. And so what that looks like is living bomb will just keep exploding as you incinerate, so the health bar would just shoot down. It's actually really nice, and it's kind of funny to watch. But that's the rotation for mapping and bossing. As far as like skill gems go, we're doing that solar orb. This is kind of our like multi-tool. So we're running extraction. Keep in mind, sacrifice on CI sacrifices 0 life, so you can use it for free. Sacrifice is a little finicky. You have to be able to make the sacrifice. But since our sacrifice is 0.1, it rounds to 0, so it goes through. Zenith, we try to keep our mana topped up almost all the time, so you'll see Zenith in a lot of places. Control Destruction, we're not critting, so free. Consider casting, because I don't solar orb down very often. And expand for the same reason. When I do put it down, I want it to be a big AoE. This helps in mapping. This helps with bosses that like to move. It's nice. You could substitute this with Withering Touch to make sure your Wither stays on, but in my experience, the Wither I put down tends to stay on until they die. Chaos Bolt, this is how we apply our Wither. We use Unleash to throw 3 out at once, and so for each one, they'll apply 3 debuffs. 3 times 3 is 9. That's 9 Withers from one cast. And then you can cast again to get that last one, or I think when you pull the wand out, this node withers them. So it should be, you pull the wand out, they get 1 stack of Wither, and then you hit them and give them the other 9 to get the maximum 10. So that's Chaos Bolt. I just threw on Rapid Casting, Chaos Mastery, and Pierce. Pierce is nice so that if there's any minions around, it'll just go right through them and hit the boss still. Fireballs are bread and butter. We're running Zenith, their mana cost, and damage. Control Destruction because we're not critting. Extraction, same idea. You might be thinking about Chaos Attunement. It's actually just not that much value, so it doesn't make it onto a lot of these. Ricochet is really nice because a lot of our fireballs end up missing. They tend to hit walls, like, you know, we're chucking them in a circle. We're not going to hit all of them. So it helps to make sure that they can chain from walls and increases our overall DPS. And then Sion's Temper is literally just Wild Shards, but a little better. So each stack, you get 1 stack when you cast, and each stack is a 20% chance to Wild Shards. So if I have 1, 20% chance, 40% chance, 60, 80, and I hit it on the 80. And if I do it again, 20, 40, 60, I hit it on 60. So it just makes Wild Shards even more fun to gamble with. It's like 80x right now, so it's pretty cheap, but if it gets expensive, just use Wild Shards, not a big deal. Incinerate, this is just to set bosses on fire and kill them with the Ignite. So keep in mind this does chaos damage, so we're buffing the Ignite, damage, 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 and then Fire Mastery, we're at like level 31, so we're at the point where each level is a lot of damage. Hopefully I can get this up even higher. Despair. Oh, and keep in mind, this is a compounding skill, so as long as it's the same cast, this stacks up into 1 big Ignite. And if you get like hit or interrupted, just like throw out some spells to recharge it, and then redo your whole combo and just set them on fire again. That 1 big Ignite is so good. It's actually really nice. And that's how we just melt bosses. Despair, keep in mind curses and exposure can go below 0. Penetration cannot. So in this case, we have a 94% curse, where if they have 0% chaos resistance, we're basically just doing double damage for free. So that's why we use Despair. Running Heightened Curse, Magnified Area, Focus Curse, and we're using the Decaying Hex Chaotic Freeze combo to make all of our hits from our fireballs and our solar orb and everything contribute to freeze. I really like how this build has Ignite, it has Chill via Chilled Ground, and it has Freeze via Despair. So I think it's really nice. We also have Ice Nova. This isn't for damage, it's just for putting down Chilled Ground with our infusions that we generate. So I just do AoE, Persistent Ground, you can read this. This is where we get that 30% less cooldown recovery rate on monsters. So it makes it so they use their like big skills a lot less. This makes the ground grow over the first 5 seconds, prolonged duration, and then more slow. So as a whole, we have like a, what is it? This one. We have a 6.5 radius that also doubles. So it's like 13 meter radius, 20-second duration. And that's with the chilled ground. So it's pretty nice. When you go down here, I'm running, if you can hit at least 130 spirit, you can run Cast an Ailment with Mana Remnants. And this is really nice, it only costs 130. And your Living Bomb can just be auto cast, and you can let it go. It's really important that you run Overabundance, because if you have a limit of 1, every time you put it down, it'll overwrite the other one. So let's say I throw a Living Bomb down manually, and then I do some damage, and I throw another Living Bomb down. The first one doesn't explode, it just goes away, and there's a brand new one that has a brand new threshold to meet for damage. So if it's on Cast on Ailment, and you don't have the limit increase, you're kind of just gonna keep replacing the bombs, and they're never gonna explode. So having a limit of 2 adds some breathing room. You'll notice I don't have any energy generation. That's on purpose. I don't want too many of these. So we have Zenith, Control Destruction, Fire Mastery, Keep in mind, Fire Mastery helps the Living Bomb, and it adds more energy to the cast on. Then we're running Mana Remnants, because that's just the build, you know, we're doing Mana. Mana Remnants is a no-brainer. But if you can't hit that 130 Spirit number, you'll just have to manually cast Living Bomb, and then you'll throw a Fireball after, and you'll run Siphon Elements, and what that'll do is it'll help you maintain your infusions. So it's a lot worse, to be honest. If you can get 130 Spirit, it's way better. But if you can't get that Spirit, there is a way around it. So I run this, I actually have 54 Spirit off my chest and 15 off my boots. So I can afford to run Clarity 2 as well as Warm-Blooded. So that's how I'm running it currently. That's the gems. So next we can go into the gear. I'm running this staff. I normally like Wand Focus more just because I like the versatility. But when they added this gain damage as extra chaos in the recent patch on the desecrations, I knew what I had to do. So I picked this up for like a div and revealed the extra chaos damage. And this staff is so beautiful. There's like nobody going fire spells right now. So a lot of this like fire spell stuff is cheap. Chaos isn't really that popular either. So it's actually a really cheap build to put together as like an entry level. But that's what we're going with. Solar Orb, it's not required, but it is really nice. So if you can get this Pyrophyte staff with Solar Orb on it, that's ideal. We're grabbing mana, we're grabbing spell damage, and we're grabbing mana regen. The flammability magnitude isn't really that big of a deal, but it is nice. If you're going Wand Focus, just make sure to get the fire spells. You know, I know we run Despair, but it's not really worth chasing the all spells because it's lower. On the second weapon set, you're going to be using a Withered Wand. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you get that Chaos Bolt. And if you can get Chaos Bolt up to inflicting 4 Wither, that's even cooler. It's just more value. But all that really matters is second weapon set, get a Withered Wand, and try to buff up your curse. So all spell skills or chaos spell skills, easy. Focus doesn't really matter. Just get +2 spell skills. You don't really need any of this other stuff. The mana and the int helps keep like parity between your 2 weapon sets, so it's like 5600, 53. It's still relatively close. Actually, this is more, but it's neither here nor there. For the other gear, like the armor, we're just kind of going for resistances, we're going for mana, we're going for energy shield, because keep in mind, all this energy shield on our gear gets converted to mana. We're running a armor belt because we have no layers to protect against physical damage. So our max phys hit we can take is just 5300. We have no way around it. So getting a little bit of armor kind of helps. I think I'm at like 7k max hit right now with the 16%. I'm not gonna do the math, I don't care. There are some alternates we can consider. Apep Supremacy gives you 20% elemental damage just completely erased, because you take 20% as chaos damage, but you'll see we're immune to chaos damage, so that just becomes damage reduction. It also gives chance to poison on hit, and so this is really helpful because it actually mitigates having a bad focus, because this stat line is horrible, but getting that poison adds like, I don't know, 10-20k DPS poisons off of your fire spells that are doing chaos, because keep in mind poison works off chaos, and it's an element, so any like ailment magnitude applies to poison as well. So this is okay, but it's just not great. This is the I keep dying, I need to address the fact that I keep dying option. There's also, I was using this for the longest time, there's Ming's Heart. Ming's Heart, it's just straight up 50% extra chaos damage, a little less, and nothing else. None of these other debuffs that it has actually applies to us because our max life's 1, so it's not gonna get reduced. We don't use energy shield. We barely use armor, so the 30% doesn't really matter. So it's pretty useful, but it's kind of outscaled by the value you can get for like just getting mana, getting Arcane Surge, AoE. Like, yeah, there's no damage on this ring, but the quality of life you get from all the stats and what they turn into, super useful. So this is good early. Once you get like better rings, you don't really want it anymore. I will say, this is a lot more damage if you can't get this Desecration. So I'd say maybe have either the Desecration or the ring, one or the other. Once you get both, you're kind of getting into like diminishing returns on gain chaos damage, so you don't need both. but at least have one of these, either the staff desecration or the ring. The other option is for the belt. There's Midnight Braid. The recoup is mana. If you've played a mana stacker before, you know recoup is mana essentially makes you take half damage as long as you don't die. So as long as you don't die, you're gonna heal back half the damage you take, and that turns into like 1500, 2000 mana per second. And you know, it sounds great, but you're missing out on a couple things. You're missing out on mana, you're missing out on armor, because keep in mind, even with Midnight Braid, you can still get one shot. Like, the recoup happens over 8 seconds. It takes a while. So the armor's nice, the res is nice, mana regen. Keep in mind, stun threshold, it's kind of important because we don't have a lot of ways to get this with our build, because we don't have health or energy shield to scale threshold off of. I know I discussed that before the gameplay. It's just, threshold is difficult. It's our hardest thing to deal with. I got some cast speed on my gloves, they're not great. I got some spirit on my boots, they're also not great, but they're workable. This is a really nice ring, it's just reses, chaos, mana. And then my amulet could be better, but this is just, I'm not willing to spend more than this right now. We're instilling Gem Enthusiast for 5% max mana. That kind of equates to, we're like right about 200, but as a whole it's like around 1,000 from my amulet. I might try to change the desecration, but skill speed is nice. So that's that. For the tree, we talk about the Ascendancy. We're going Arcane Surge because we're a mana stacker, that's easy. We're not critting, so if we're not going to do crit, you have to go Stormweaver to get it off the Ascendancy. Because the only way to get Arcane Surge is pretty much just by critting and having these gain Arcane Surge when you deal crit. Where is it? Gain Arcane Surge when you deal crit. That's like your primary way to get it. I know there's a support gem as well, but I don't like using support gems that don't deal damage, because support gems are like the #1 way to get quote unquote more damage from like Zenith, more damage, more hit damage. So having to substitute, like, what would we do? We'd throw it on Fireball. We'd have to remove one of our really valuable gems to get Arcane Surge going. So getting off the Ascendancy is really good. Having this node right here, 20% increased effect per 10% missing mana, that just means as you get low, you heal faster. Like, you get more regen the lower you get, so it's a no-brainer. This pretty much doubles all your remnants, so it's almost mandatory. And then this one is how we get our Cold Infusions to cast Ice Nova. So think about, hey, we're using the Ascendancy, we're spending 2 points to get Temporal Chains, but better. That's how I refer to it anyway. The tree's pretty simple, it's not really hard to understand. We're going for mana regen whenever we can. We're chasing Flammability, we're chasing Ignite, we're chasing anything to do with Remnants. Arcane Remnants is a lot of mana regen, so I really like this. Our second weapon set is purely devoted to Curse, as well as Chill, and we have some AoE right here as well. Our second weapon set is mainly devoted to Ignite and Flammability, but also to Chaos damage. Make sure that this Wither cluster right here is on whatever set your wand with Chaos is on. That Chaos Bolt is the only way we're applying Wither in this build. So make sure the weapon set matches. You might have to make some adjustments if your primary weapon is your Chaos Bolt. We're CI, we're Eldritch Battery, MOM, kind of a standard trio. The build enabling one is Black Flame. Fire spells deal Chaos, Chaos contributes to Ignite, and Ignite deals Chaos. So this is pretty big. I know I tried this build in like 0.2 actually, and it didn't work because the Black Flame ring just didn't kind of work the same way this does. This notable is way better. Another thing of note is that these fire damage nodes don't actually help, but it's so valuable to get these other items like AoE and hits against burning, Flammability, Ignite, Flammability, Ignite. So it's a worthwhile sacrifice. Think of it as like a travel node. We have a From Nothing that allocates around Scarred Faith, and we can't actually reach Total Incineration. Let me remove this. It gives us all this right here. We have Arcane Surge buffs, we have Channeling, it does more damage and has Stun Threshold. We have Hinder on hit with spells, as well as damage against hindered. Slingshots, we only have it pretty much for this chance to inflict ailments with projectiles. but it does also increase fireball damage. So it's kind of niche, but the 20% increased chance to inflict ailments is helpful. Picking up some more flammability right here. And then this one is a really nice node, but it's not actually in range. So I actually allocate it using a Megalo that it gives me total incineration, which is that node right there, as well as Eldritch Will. All this does is give us 3% more max mana. So it's not great, but it was a cheap jewel, so I bought it. You can look at the max roll that's in the description to get more information about a lot of this. The only other notable thing is Arcane Intensity, get spell damage from our mana. That's pretty core. And that's pretty much the tree. I kind of discussed the jewels briefly. The only one I haven't mentioned yet is the Prism of Belief. I'd say this is the only mandatory jewel. This +2 level, you can get +3 as well. Super important. And then outside of that, we've already covered like kind of the alternatives. Solar Orb, not mandatory, very helpful. Spirit, you only need 100 for the build. You know, you don't have to get any on your gear. But if you get 130, that really turns the build online. So that's pretty much it. If there's any adjustments I'd make, you can kind of get rid of this remnants can be collected 30% away, as well as this. This is actually a really efficient node, the 15 spell damage. It's kind of hard to find 15% that applies to this build, so these are nice. This is nice right here. This is nice right here. We get 1 fire fusion addition because it improves consistency. And we could probably move these two and these two to get like another node cluster somewhere, but I just prefer the QOL. So that's pretty much it. That's the build. I haven't really been able to play too much, but that's going to change soon. So you'll see some shorts from me just incinerating pinnacles and whatever other build updates I end up doing. But this is my league starter. Took me a while to get it online. And that's the build. Thanks for watching.